All right, today we have a very short lesson on introductory clauses. Now, I know that this was hopefully part of your curriculum in middle school, so this will be a review. But once again, this is one of those tools that are very helpful when it comes to increasing your writing skills and writing abilities. And so we're going to go over it again because we see a lot of errors in the freshman year with these introductory clauses. So first things first, what is an introductory clause? Now, an introductory clause or phrase, and we'll get into the difference between a clause and a phrase later, but for this lesson, all you need to know is an introductory clause is the beginning part of a sentence that is not needed to get across the main idea of the sentence. It's not part of the main clause or the independent clause within the sentence. It is a dependent clause, meaning it cannot stand on its own, that provides background information or sets the stage for that main clause or that independent clause. For example, in the sentence, if they want to win, athletes must exercise every day. This sentence is made up of an introductory dependent clause followed by the main clause or the independent clause. So we could take out the if they want to win and we would be left with athletes must exercise every day. Athletes must exercise every day is a sentence. It's an independent clause that can stand on its own. But if we want to increase the level of comprehension for our readers, we might want to add some context, and that's what the purpose of if they want to win is doing. Now you'll notice that anytime we have an introductory clause, much like the appositives and non-restrictive phrases, we offset them by commas. So if they want to win, comma, athletes must exercise every day. Okay, in the second sentence, because he kept barking insistently, we threw the ball for Smokey. Same thing, this is an introductory dependent clause followed by a main clause. Okay, because he kept barking insistently, comma to tell us that it's an introductory clause, is not necessarily needed. We threw the ball for Smokey is its own sentence. That could stand on its own. Okay, but if we're writing this sentence, we want our readers to understand exactly what we're thinking, so we are going to add the introductory clause to set the stage or set the context because he kept barking insistently. Now, quite often, or probably 90% of the time, introductory clauses will start with adverbs. Words like after, although, as, because, before, if, since, though, until, when, etc. That's not always the case, but if you're trying to identify introductory clauses, or if you are asking yourself if phrases in your own writing are introductory clauses, you can look for some of these trigger words to help you out. Here are some other examples of introductory clauses. These first two are just rephrasings of the two sentences that we saw already. So I'm going to skip over them and go down to the third one. The wind blowing violently, the townspeople began to seek shelter. Or it could say because the wind was blowing violently, the townspeople began to seek shelter. So what we have here is we have a main clause, the townspeople began to seek shelter. That is the main chunk of information we're trying to get across. And then we have some context, the wind blowing violently, that tell the reader, further the knowledge of the reader, and inform them why the townspeople began seeking shelter. Here are some examples of cases where you might want to put a comma for an introductory clause, but it's not correct. So you can go through and pause and read through those. So now we're to our mastering activity. Now, introductory clauses and phrases are another one of those tools that the only reason we have them is to help you become a better reader. The introductory clause or phrase is really, the purpose is really so that you can help your readers, when you write, understand more about what you're trying to say. So when we do a mastering activity, when I come up with a mastering activity for this tool, it only makes sense that it comes with you practicing in your own writing. So with that being said, for this mastering activity, you're going to write 75 to 100 words, a free write activity telling me if I won the lottery, this is what I would do with it. Now, in the free write, I want you to include no fewer than 3 correctly punctuated introductory clauses. And the correctly punctuated part should be pretty simple because anytime you have an introductory clause, it is going to be followed by a comma. So that is how you're going to correctly punctuate those introductory clauses. Once you complete that, you're going to submit that to me. I look forward to writing all the interesting things you are going to do when you become rich. As always, if you have any questions about introductory clauses, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out, and look forward to seeing your writing. Thanks again. Have a good day.